The most important virtue is courage, because without it, you cannot exercise the other virtues consistently. And that is a quote of Dr. Maya Angelou. And in this video, we are going to talk about Mars in astrology. Hi, this is Nisa with VNS Mystery School, and you're watching Cosmic Little Lessons, the place to be to bridge the gap between you and the oracular insights. In this video, we are going to continue our series of the planet series. Here, we are going to talk about the planet Mars. Now here, Mars, we are talking about the first planet on the other side of the Earth, away from the sun. Here we have a red planet that is hot and dry. And as you know, the principles of astrology is as above, so below. We are going to zoom in and take a look at the quality of Mars and how that signifies some of our Martian quality that we manifest in this life as well. Now, I think there's a few things about Mars here that the Indians, the Vedic system captured. One of the association of the planet Mars, it is Mula, which is also known as the root, the start. And here, Mars, in our chakra body system, it is completely connected with the creation cycle. And of course, this is the center of the root of everything. It is your sex drive, which is the urge to create, which is absolutely universal within all living things. Here, the Mars in astrology, it is the fighting principle for the sun. Say the sun in the trilogy of masculine, here we have the divine masculine spirit, and then you have Jupiter, that is the king. Here, Mars talks about the warrior prince. We're talking about an archetype that is very much driven by testosterone, adrenaline, and therefore this manifests in assertions, penetrations, strife, aggressions, and because the energy of Mars here, it wants to conquer forward. Here in many mythologies, I think the oldest Martian story will probably the story of Hercules. And then as a history buff myself, I've noticed there's so many Martian that is hung up on the older Martian archetypes. I think the first time I heard the lament of this Martian agony was from Marcus Aurelius. How in so many ways he's so dissatisfied that he cannot measure up to Julius Caesar. Now, Julius Caesar also experienced the same agony while he felt this internal competition because he would never be Alexander the Great. And of course, the story continues where Alexander the Great feels incompetent because he's not Achilles, and Achilles feels incompetent because he's not Hercules, and Hercules is feeling incompetent because he is not Mars, the god of war himself. So anyways, that's just something a little fun of that whole Martian trail and its competition that happens throughout history with other historical figures. And let's go back to our internal Mars. Here within us, this is again, our root chakra. This is the part of us that wants to strive to continue to create. And of course, this is the planet that is absolutely tied in with your sex drive and libido. And passion in general, passion for life, passion to forge ahead and conquer things forward. Now, Mars, you also hear it from different languages, how this is Marte, which is the day of Tuesday. This is Mardi, also the root of Mardi Gras. This is MAR in quality. It always returns back to Mars. Now, in some views, Mars have been also known as malefic. And for me, I'm in the school of there's no such thing as good or bad. It's just thinking makes it so. Now, of course, sometimes Mars here talks about war. But for me, sometimes it really talks about the battle that built our resilience. And also, sometimes because of that spear forging ahead, here talks about sharp objects. And it is true, but where will we be as a civilizations if we never invent weapons, right? And so here, Mars also talks about surgery, cutting things open with a sharp object. Now, surgery, it is, what is it? Is it good or bad? That is completely from your view perspective. Of course, it saves lives, but also there's a risk to any surgery where you cannot wake up or have a massive bleeding as well. And that is also equally Martian in quality. So we've talked about our basic instinct. And of course, here our basic instinct, and of course, when we talk about Mars, it always goes back to sex. And the whole thing about sex, you can imagine Mars as also signifies by the journey of the sperm, how it has to compete with the other sperm to get ahead to this one egg. So there's that quality of competition and then quality to want to penetrate and forging ahead. And all of that, it is to serve the principle for the sun. So I hope you get all of those principles and understand how Mars can be seen in both lights of, light and the shadow of Mars. Now, Mars, of course, have the cosmic lover, Venus. And for other than the sun, usually Mars is motivated by Venus, the principle of attraction, because then you forge and want to conquer ahead what you are attracted to. Any Mars and Venus contact, of course, it is what romance and song and poetry all have been written about. Now, going back to Mars in astrology, where is Mars in your chart? Now, what zodiac sign is it in? Describe how you exert your energy and what is, in a way, your weapon of choice when it comes down to conflict. However, this is also the area, if you're talking about the house system, this is the area where you're experiencing a lot of actions and a lot of movement as well. Usually your Aries house is always talking about something that is so badass about us, because at the very core of it, it is our need to blast out our expression and having it be accepted. And that is Mars in astrology. So do tell me, where does your Mars falls in zodiac and what house is it in? And how are you experiencing actions in that area of your life? Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode of this series.